It's amazing, the better sometimes you get, the worse you often feel. Not because you're declining, but because your awareness sharpens and your tolerance for mistakes drops. Most people don't lose confidence because they're failing. They lose it because their standards rise faster than their perspective. And that's a dangerous game to play. Let me give you a simple example. A child sits at the piano for their first lesson. They're a bit excited, but it's total chaos. Wrong notes, bad timing, obviously no rhythm. But then 3 months down the line, they something clicks and they play a short medley. Maybe it's just 20 seconds, and suddenly they're lit up, proud, energized. They feel like they've climbed Mount Everest. Now, fast forward 10 years, same person, technically excellent, years of practice, complex pieces, can play with real skill. And what happens? They miss a chord and they're absolutely furious. Same human being, the same instrument, but a completely different emotional reaction and experience. Why? Because in the beginning, they measured progress. Now they're measuring like mistakes and imperfection. The shift right there is where confidence gets really hurt and frustration grows. And it's so strange. It's amazing. The better sometimes you get, the worse you often feel. Not because you're declining, but because your awareness sharpens and your tolerance for mistakes drops. You start playing basically a different game. Early on, the question is, can I do this at all? Later, the question becomes, why didn't I do that perfectly? And if you're not careful, you build a mindset where success is invisible and mistakes are magnified all the time. That's not high performance. That's really self sabotaged. And it's based on unrealistic standards usually. Real success is about how much more you can build on top of what you've already achieved. You're not starting from zero anymore. So don't behave like you are. So often we forget the massive mountain that we've already climbed and we only see the gap. And the gap looks so much bigger often than the ground we've already covered. And it's usually smaller than we imagine. And this is where perspective becomes a real weapon. If you approach work or business from the standpoint that you always feel behind, why not shift to look at what you've already built and think, let's add to it? That's when everything changes. Same reality, different lens. One creates pressure, the other creates momentum. Let's bring this into something practical because otherwise, this is just a nice idea you'll forget in 10 minutes. This is doing something very simple that I recommend. Write down everything you've achieved in your field or whatever you're looking to get better at. Not vaguely, not I've done okay. Detail it. The matches you've won, the clients you've helped, the skills you've built, the problems that you've solved, the moments that you handled pressure really, really well. This is a big one. Force yourself to see the real evidence because so often right now you're operating off memory, and memory is pretty bad and usually biased towards what has gone wrong. Then, next to that list, write down what you want next, not from a desperation, but as another natural next step based on your already substantial progression. There's a big difference. Being desperate says, I need this to prove I'm good enough. Progression says, I've already done well. Now I just want to build the next layer. It's really about not whether you're successful or not, but how much more success you're going to have. And one is fragile and the other is so much more truthful. And here's the payoff. When you operate from that second place, your relationship with mistakes changes. And if you miss a chord, Fine. You kind of see that as a data point. Or you lose a match, fine. It's feedback. You then don't spiral so much and get used to operating with small adjustments. It's much more versatile. And your identity isn't hanging on perfection anymore. It's anchored in progress. If you only feel good when everything goes right, you've built a confidence system that's guaranteed to break. Because things will go wrong 100% and constantly. The best performers don't avoid that. They expect it and they keep perspective most of the time because they're also human and can get caught up. So the next time you catch yourself frustrated at a mistake, pause for a second and think to yourself, would the version of me from 5 years ago be proud of where I am right now? If that answer is yes, and it usually is, then you're not doing badly. You're just seeking more. And that's the price of getting better. And of course, your perspective has changed because you know so much more. But keep the excitement that you had at the start. That is real fuel. Keep it, build on it. And remember, you're not chasing success anymore. You're extending it. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you can help my progress by subscribing and sharing with others. And don't forget to tune in next week when I have an amazing guest, Navid Nazemian, whose story of bravery in business illustrates a mindset of pure adventure. Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks for watching Locker Room Power with David Sammel. If you enjoyed the episode, hit subscribe and leave a comment on your favorite platform. See you in the next one.